We got the pre-bans locking in right here with a Nephthys and a Nikki getting pre-banned out. Let's get into this, guys.
Let's do it, Stoic. And I just wanted to shout out everyone, because if you haven't noticed, we have a new little feature over here. Instead of showing the player's current rank, now we have their best rank ever. Lonely has closed into top 100, GT 70, and then VIC has closed on the 54, so both their highest are super close. We see a little bit of a split. Lonely with a Vanessa, the core unit, 33% speed lead for him. It's been working really well. And VIC goes a little bit more mid-range with Veronica and then the Raccoon. Are we expecting a Miles coming out on the other side from Lonely? Because now Lonely kind of locked in two very strong fire units.
Yeah, I do like that Lonely is trying to compete with that speed too, with that Ethna, but I would expect Vic to either, show a little bit of contest and try to contest the speed. He already laid down the Veronica, and Vic being the only Veronica user in the American side, I think he should try to synergize with this unit here, but it looks like he's opting not to, which isn't the worst thing. We're going to see two fire units get laid down to the field, the Fire Monkey King and Tessarian.
Oof, very, very interesting, Stoic. To be completely honest, I would love for sure a couple water units. You play versus triple fire with two water units. He's going to probably ban one. Then you got turn one guaranteed with the Etna. Lonely feels a little bit more comfortable, but let's remember, Vic has the last pick to respond to this. And then to ban the Tessa, excellent over here. But you see, the Beast Riders coming out like we asked. The Barbara and the Narsha. Love those picks. Both of them very aggressive and kind of saying, I want to control the pace of this match.
It's some great synergy as well. I love those two picks there, especially with that Vanessa. And with that being laid out onto the field, 100%, that Leo cannot make it through. It's Leo's getting banned out here. And I do feel like you have to ban out the Vanessa. I feel like just that Vanessa combination with the two Beast Riders is kind of tough to deal with because there's a lot of aggression coming out of Lonely. And I love this aggression. I think this is a winning draft for me.
I agree with you. I love the draft. He closed it out super strong. And even if one of the Beast Riders is banned, you still have the combo of Etna plus the other one trying to eliminate one of the units. I do like the Barbara ban. I think it was a very dangerous unit. I don't like Lonely not banning the Leo, even though he did get the kind of surprise of banning the Barbara, which was countered by the Leo because Vic was probably saying he's 100% banning this Leo. Now it's going to be a match that it's more on, Juno's hands and then on the Fire Monkey. So it's going to be a little bit of a slower pace match with this Leo. And what are you expecting?
I mean, we'll see what happens here. The damage is definitely going to be limited on the side of Lonely, but we'll find out, guys. We get into the very first match with Vic and Lonely. Leo's going to be kicking things off here.
Let's see how tanky this Etna is. Does he go for her or the Narsha? Directly for the Narsha. Almost 40% of her HP gone. Gets the stun on the Veronica. We're not going to be seeing that strip reset coming out. Now the Juno probably wants to try to stun that Tessarion. Goes for the desperation.
Wow.
And stuns him.
Despair stun right there. Tessarion getting locked down here. Obviously this unit's probably built on violent, so it could potentially proc out of there, but a defense break's going to be landing on top of the Leo. I think Leo definitely makes himself as a high priority target here. He's got that defense break. I think he still needs to capitalize on it. Look out for the ignored defense torn. We're all terrified of that ability.
Yeah, that was very interesting. The reduction right now drops her off the chair. Now goes the Etna, almost full attack bar, but there will be one opening. The Juno hits so hard. And the big proc from the Vanessa to try to lower even more one of these two units. Can the Narsha capitalize and kill either the Tessa? No, it doesn't get the crit.
Yeah, I definitely think Tessarion needs to be the focus right now. I love that Lonely was able to remove that Leo from the field because we all know about additional damage in all these units. A lot of these units are additional damage by speed. So with Leo gone, there's going to be a lot more damage now for Lonely's team here. The Narsha obviously being dismounted is a little bit troublesome, but keep in mind that Vanessa still remains on the field.
Yeah, very interesting. Now he has a big choice to make. Will he go for the Vanessa? Resist, my friend. No death break, but now he can put the Oblivion on the Juno if he wants. Goes for the Etna instead, just for the raw damage. The Juno trying to get rid of this Veronica. There'll be a little opening. He has to make a big choice right here. Do I go for the Vanessa once again? Yes, finally landing that death break. And now he can finish up the Veronica and go on a 4v2. It's going to be very difficult for Vic to bring this back. The big hit from the Narsha.
Yeah, very difficult indeed. We're going to see this Desarian dropping here, even getting Despair Stun as well. Didn't need it. Of course, this is a lonely Fire Monkey, and Fire Monkey King does have the ability to solo out, but we'll see what happens because there is a lot of damage coming from Lonely. Narsha is absolutely slamming it with a third skill, finishing off this Fire Monkey King right there. Lonely with the aggressive draft, taking round 1.
Ooh, Stoic, we asked for it. He was probably listening in. He said, I got you guys. And one amazing piece of, you know, deliciousness, which was letting the Leo through, but killing the Leo so quickly. Did you see how hard that Narsha hit, even with the passive of Leo being active in there?
That's right. I mean, I think that's why he felt so comfortable with leaving that Leo onto the field, and I think that was totally fine now. Lonely, I did say, Lonely had the better draft, way more aggressive, but this goes back to that first pick where you already had the Veronica in there. It was Veronica Raccooni. Maybe the Raccooni wasn't that big of a priority pick in my eyes for Vic, but in this situation of Lonely bringing this high aggression, Vic needed to capitalize on that Veronica, and he should have just went with more turn 1 team, you know, keep that synergy with that Veronica, that same play style, and I think if he was able to take advantage of Lonely, taking turn 1 away from him, pushing him back, I think that was the better route than just taking the Leo and just opting for Lonely to pop off immediately.
I love that. You totally called it. His draft was very, very strong, and now we're going to see with the availability of the Nefties and the Veronica that didn't get pre-banned, Lonely opted to take out the Raccooni like 3 years ago. Would you think that this is something that we'd be seeing in SWC, a Raccooni, the monster that always gets destroyed in ads, getting pre-banned?
Yeah, it's so crazy to see the Raccooni as the pre-ban right now, knowing that, you know, there's so many other like options to take care of here. And obviously Neftis was pre-banned before, and now we have the Neftis now. So I'm definitely going to see a synergy that Vic was, you know, was looking to draft more often now. So knowing that Vic was going to have Neftis, I'm very surprised the pre-ban didn't go back to a Veronica. I think Veronica should have been the pre-ban, because right now Vic is going to get some bread and butter. This is the way that he wants to play. Double speed lead Veronica with 2 other big options. I want to see some threat coming out of Vic at these last 2 picks here, but Lonely looking to respond. He has the 33 speed lead. He went with the Nefna. He is double speed lead in this draft. I like Lonely's response right now.
I agree with you. I really like his response. And one thing that's super dangerous is that Hey Gang is very strong against this trip that doesn't actually boost the team, right? So if you leave in the more is not a big problem anymore. And now we're seeing a Douglas less pick in the draft. To be honest, I don't feel super strongly about it, because you can pick a water unit right now that has to be banned versus this Douglas, and I think that if he plays it very well, he might kill it, or if he doesn't want to risk it at all, he can ban the Douglas.
Yeah, Water Monkey King, Miles, Barbara, any of these options for Lonely I think are great, but they're probably going to get banned out here. I do not like what Vic has done here. He's got 2 speed leads, the Veronica, and then he just turns it completely around. I understand the Juno hitting the fields here, which potentially is something that Lonely could have taken himself, but Lonely right now showcasing that he's trying to speed contest. I don't think he was in a position of potentially taking a Juno, though, but all right. Vic decided to turn around his draft there, opting to go with the Juno and a Douglas, and then we have Lonely taking a Fire Monkey. I think Fire Monkey is fine. I don't have a problem with this unit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like the pick, but that kind of tells you that he's banning the Douglas. I don't think he can let this Douglas through right now because the risk is too big, and he does let it through. Oof. I don't know, Stoic. I'm feeling a little bit. Is this Etna going to have enough gas in the tank to finish up the Douglas, or can he land a death break on it to take him out of the field right now? Here we go. Etna, turn 1. He might go for just a strip and stun. Goes for it. Res, and doesn't get
so many resistance. What a change to the game there, because it was so very clear that the resistance happened on top of the Neftis. So big fan of the changes already, but I do think he actually has to go and do that third skill to get it back up onto the Etna. I think that's too much of a trendsetter right now. I think he needs it. Opting not to, but he's going to keep pumping into the Neftis.
He got very unlucky with the Hey Gang not having its immunity removed, because now the speed tuning is all mess, and now he can't have the Jameer give everyone their cooldowns back because he needs a proc. If the Jameer either doesn't, if he's smart, he can't go for the Jameer right here, because Jameer comes back, okay, goes for the Vanessa, very well played. Now he needs to pray for a proc from Jameer, but I think it's pretty much locked down, you know? This Douglas is too difficult to lay down, take out of the field. It's gonna be complex. Ooh, this looks like a lockdown game.
Yeah, so my mistake on that, I was definitely wrong to say pump into the Ethna and get that Ethna third skill back up, because Veronica came in there and got the reset anyways, so it's a good thing that he didn't listen to me at that moment. But like, it goes back to the draft that we were talking about, that Lonely kind of like changed it up. I get it. I think the Douglas was good, but I do think Vic should have continued down that route. Even though he won it, it's not going to matter in the end. But Lonely with the change there, Fire Monkey King, maybe the Fire Monkey King was okay. It was all right. Vic had the better draft.
I like it. I totally agree. I think that the problem was letting the Douglas through. Once you have that comp, like you said, he's comfortable, but the Douglas is a win con. Once you know you have that last pick, you got to have a force ban, and then you take out the Douglas off the field because he didn't have enough attack to deal with a unit. So now we're going back to the Nikki and the Nefty's pre-ban, so Vic doesn't get his full comp, and this is a decisive point. Lonely needs to make sure that he gets back into the driver's seat, brings units that can give him that turn 1 kill, but he doesn't want to put them too early, otherwise the sustain, the Leo might show it up, and he changes his draft a little bit. Wusa,
I think Lonely has to change his draft, to be honest, because if Lonely goes and tries to repeat the very first match, I do think Vic would adjust his draft and not let him repeat what he did in that first round. So I think this is a safer route for Lonely to change it up like this, and I want to see what Vic's going to be doing here, because I think Vic can potentially go with what he originally brought that first time, but it looks like we are going to see a very, very big, this is a massive change, but it's a little too passive, I think, for Vic.
It is. I do like the Abellio, though. I think that the Bulwark right here is kind of like middle of the road, you know, so it gives the opening for Lonely to bring things that are very difficult to deal with, like a Diana into these 4 monsters. It's going to be really difficult to kill if you bring more sustain with it. You can bring also a Wind Monkey, very strong. There's no immunity on the other side, the Death Break, but he goes back to his comfort zone, which is the Etna, turn 1 versus the water units, very strong. And then Diana, love that. Strong picks.
Yeah, I think
now you just got to be careful with the last pick.
Yeah, let's see what happens with here with Vic, because Vic kind of has to justify the Bulwark. When you laid that Bulwark down there, you kind of put your opponent in the driver's seat, where Lonely doesn't have to use that third skill from the Wusa, obviously keeping the Wusa up there to protect himself from you know, the Veronica or the Provokes coming out from Abellio here. It's interesting. So it looks like, you know, taking the Josephine, he's able to enable his Bulwark when Lonely's going to be getting his stuns out there. The shield's going to be popping up again with the ban going on to the Raccoon. Quite interesting.
Very interesting. I actually like the ban on the Raccoon. Once he locked in 2 wind units, since he dropped the Josephine last, the triple water, not super worried about it, but he needs to be very, very careful and try to remove one of them off the field quickly.
Yeah, I have a feeling I kind of like Lonely's draft just a little bit better than Vic, but we'll see what happens with Josephine. I feel like Josephine kind of comes off as like a wild card where it can do these insane things, but we'll see what happens. 2 turns sleep. Sitting on top of that Juno is going to be waking that unit up anyways, though.
Yeah, and there's one little detail. If the Abellio right now takes the heal in, there's going to be a big opening for this Etna to do some damage, remove the Veronica off the field, and then there's triple water versus wind. So his big focus will have to be this Vanessa. Remove the Vanessa, then you go for the Etna, but now the Etna will have all skills next turn.
Yeah, let's see. So if this Josephine can be consistent with the stuns, putting it down onto the field, I think Vic can get the edge right here. That's a beautiful stun. Nice initial turn with another stun going out onto the Ethna. Now we're going to see some damage hit the field there. So, okay, Bailio's trying to get this Vanessa. Vanessa's definitely the focus for Vic.
Yeah, and the Juno getting that stun. The Josephine, I don't know. I'm kind of afraid when he woke up everyone by using the strip from Juno, the Josie had a 2-turn sleep. And like you said, the Josie is a problem unit. It's a unit that stuns, doesn't glance, very, very dangerous, keeps getting that, you know, cooldown resetted and then shields, feeding into the Bulwark. So I don't know. I think it was a dangerous call to wake her up. We're going to see right now he deals with it. There's a lot of sustain on Vic's side, and I think that the tables are turning.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Like I said, if this Josephine keeps on stunning, they're definitely going to be a big problem for Lonely here. And there's that stun right there with the Provoke up. Obviously, super dangerous unit. Damage is going to be pumped right into that Veronica. Veronica's still looking pretty healthy, especially with the shields and the Abellio. And of course, any of these buffs that Lonely really doesn't want to put up right now.
Yeah, this is very dangerous. Losing the Vanessa is going to be a big problem because there's a lot of sustain on the other side. Once again, giving him shields. The only advantage is that speed buff on the Juno. The Josephine looking more like an Okeanos, constantly stunning the other team. Goes for the strip, gets the dots, and a key stun. Right now, he needs to make sure this Etna is standing. He doesn't go for the feed on it. I don't know. I was afraid. I would have put that shield up because the Josephine goes ahead. Now there's a big opening trying to get rid of the Veronica. We know that if he gets the kill right now, he has a chance because otherwise the Bulwark will heal up the Veronica.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I do think the Wusa should have threw up the shield and immunity. Of course, it would have been there to protect the Vanessa from dropping. I know the 5 stacks are coming, but like you see right now, the 5 stacks are already here anyways.
Yeah, very good point. This is not the point to just calculate on that.
Oh,
the Josephine gets a big proc. That is super, super important. Fails to get the stun though, and now the Wusa can deal some damage, and the Etna will start to take over. Remember, it's triple water versus wind. This is a feeding situation for her, and now you can try to finish the Josephine, and with that, it's a 3v2. Even if this Bulwark heals up, like you said, the comp on Vic's side was too passive. The Etna, even though stunned, she set up the stage. She gets another kill, and it's 3v1. Abelia will have to do something completely unexpected to try to win this, but with the Wusa protection, the Etna damage, and the Juno sustain is going to be almost impossible to come back.
Yeah, 100%. Defense breaks it on top of the Abelia, and that's definitely going to be it for Lonely here. It's a tough situation, man. Like we said, very, very passive heavy for Vic here. And I kind of wanted to see, you know, what we were telling Lonely, more aggression. But Vic, when you have this Veronica unit, I wanted to see more control. Synergize your team around these big top tier units. But a big congratulations there for Lonely.